Hi there, students. This is a screencast on part 3 of your PEPP. Okay, so we are getting to halfway through your PEPP, and you guys are doing great. So, part 3, what type of program evaluation are we doing, and how are we going to do it, and what are your roles and responsibilities? So, that is part 3. That's what we're working through here. The types sometimes get tricky for students, but I gave you a lot of information on how to find it, a couple of screencasts, and here are the types. So you're going to choose one or more of these. Also, you're going to be looking at, is your program in the initial stage? Maybe your school district is trying out a new type of delivery model or a new type of classroom, a new type of program, and that would be an initial stage. You could also have one in planning development. So sometimes we might evaluate a program before we even start it. Or maybe your program's been going on for 20 years and that's a mature program. So you're going to look at that and then you're going to look at what type you're considering. Now, outline the process. How are you going to conduct this evaluation? Again, a ton of supports here. Remember that you have not evaluated this program yet. So, at this point, it really should be future tense or present tense, not past tense. And so describe how you're going to do that. And then here, discuss your roles and responsibilities. If you, the evaluator, are the teacher in the program, are you going to have some bias? Probably. So talk about that. Are you going to need to stay neutral? Yes. Are you going to need to disseminate information once you have the results? Yes. Depending on the type of evaluation, are you going to give recommendations and things like that? So all of that, there's a lot of resources in Courston for your roles and responsibilities. And just a reminder, part 3, we are actually in module 3 here. Okay, so module 3 is this is where you submit part 3. All right, let's go ahead and actually look at the template first. So let's go to part 3, what type of program evaluation? So tell me the type and describe it and why. Give me the process outline. How are you conducting this evaluation? And what are your roles and responsibilities? That is part 3. And then you'll see the rubric aligns directly with it. So that's why I'm saying use the template so that way when you're using the rubric, looking at the rubric, you're not missing steps. So where people get caught up in part 3 is understanding what type. And that is why I have listed out the different types for you. So ever since I started listing these types out, students have not had issues there. Understanding how to conduct this evaluation, use all the resources provided. And then the one part that students sometimes miss are the complexities of the evaluator. If you work in that school district, it's complex. All right, if you are an outsider and you're evaluating the school district, like if I'm evaluating your school district, it is less complex. But if I'm your school partner, that adds complexity. If I am a random company outside of North Dakota, then it's not as complex because I don't have any kind of stake in the game. So there are complexities of being an evaluator, and there is a lot of bias. And what happens if you do this program evaluation and it turns out that it's very negative? It's not. It's not of quality. It's not effective. And you're an employee of that school district. So that's why oftentimes when we do a program evaluation, we will go to external evaluators, but if we don't have funding for that, we might evaluate within, and I want you guys to understand the complexities. Okay, so that is part 3. I think you guys are going to cruise through it. You now know kind of the hiccups that students get into, and also how to be successful by looking at the rubric. Thanks so much for listening and have a great week.